All right, so no questions. Let me just see at the time, because for this I said if time permits. What time is it? Okay, so maybe very, very quickly, because again, that's not really, you don't really have to know this, but I just wanted you to see that it's easy in your notebook, you type your SQL query, you see the table. What's going on behind the scene is that you have a CPU that computes stuff, you have memory, you have disk, you have tapes, and so PostgreSQL is able to select the appropriate location to put your data, right? So you just need to know that you can have the CPU registers, it's super fast, but if you shut down the electricity, it's gone. The disk is permanent storage. So in the end, your relational table has to be on disk, right? Because if you lose the electricity, you don't want to lose your data, right? Maybe you can have backups as well. And so the idea is that the more you go to persistent storage, the more you can store, but the slower it gets, right? Because imagine the tapes is as slow as it gets, right? To get your data, you might need even minutes or hours in order to get your data. The hard drive is a bit faster than tapes, but still a bit slow. The memory is much faster and so on, right? But again, there's less and less space, so you cannot put everything just in the working memory. There's not enough space in there. Now, the idea is that we have data independence, which means that the user shouldn't see any of that. The user shouldn't have to worry about these things. So what does that mean? It means that while you are querying your data from the comfort of your Jupyter notebook, PostgreSQL is handling all of the details behind the scenes. In particular, PostgreSQL is creating directories and files on the disk in order to store everything that you are putting in there, hidden from your view. There is somewhere a directory called PG data that contains the actual data. And that is exactly what you don't have to deal with because it's hidden, right? The directory that contains all of your tables and schemas and the data and so on. And the way it works is that the logical records like this, they are stored sequentially on the disk, value by value. And some of them are fixed. So when you have a Boolean or an int, so this is a fixed size. But for the varchar, for example, the varchar is elastic. So they found tricks. They put the elastic stuff at the end of the record, and you just have to know that it's not necessarily the same size everywhere. So they put first what has a fixed size, then what is elastic in there. And that's basically how it is stored. Sometimes people put huge varchars or objects in their tables. It can be even gigabyte long chars and objects. Well, the engineers of PostgreSQL came up with something they call toasts, probably just because they just cut then whatever you put into chunks, and then they just offload that to another table, right? So they are even able to deal with huge values when you have a cell with a absolutely huge value. They just have ways to store it like toasts, just nicely cut into slices. Okay. And then the idea is that in order to access the data, PostgreSQL is going to try to optimize reading from the disk, and it's trying to read in blocks of a few kilobytes, right? It's reading a few kilobytes, writing back a few kilobytes. So the idea is that when you start creating a new table and you add data with insert into table values, it's going to put a record here, starts at the end, then the second record, the third record, it just goes like this from the right to the left. And then at some point, there's always empty space, but then at some point it's full, right? That's called a page. It's at most 8 kilobytes. At some point, that page is full. So what it's going to do is it's going to put these 8 kilobytes to disk and start a new page. And then when you continue to insert into your tables, it just creates new pages like this. And that gives you a file on your disk. That file is able to grow all the way to 1 gigabyte. If you do the math, each page is 8 kilobytes and you have up to a gigabyte. That gives you 125,000 pages. And again, the goal of the pages is that this is the level of access. You read and write entire pages, not record by record, page by page from the disk. Once you have put so much data that you have 1 gigabyte, that's a file on your disk. And then you create another file, another file, another file. That's how you get tables with multiple gigabytes If you have, I don't know, a terabyte, then you would have 1,000 files like this. They call them chunks. So this is what it looks like on the disk. So if you store a huge relational table of 100 terabytes using insert into and create table and so on, and then you try to find it on the disk, this is what you will see. There will be a directory somewhere with all these 1 gigabyte files, and they contain your data, basically. And the good news is that all of these complicated things that are super scary and that I'm showing you and that seem scary, well, you don't have to worry about this because that's the whole point of data independence, is precisely that the engineers took care of that. And as a user, you can completely forget about all of that. You don't need to worry. You just type your SQL queries in your Jupyter notebook and it just works. Right? So this is the one thing that I want you to understand. The value of a system like that it takes care of all of this for you. Okay? So very, very quickly, I wanted to be very quick on that. Yes?